was connected to Brooklyn via trade rumor this offseason, but Kevin Durant poured water all over that yesterday when he said this. Take a listen.
Is there anything that you could share with us about that conversation? And then do you relay that James wants to play with the Nets to Sean as soon as you hear something like that?
I don't know where you're making these stories up that me and James talked about any of this at a workout. Like, I don't know where that came from. And James is a friend of mine, but I let the front office handle all of that stuff. I was just so focused on working out. I heard all the noise, and I heard that, James potentially wanted to come to the Nets, but anybody can make up stories. Anybody can write a story and it gets some traction. So, nothing's ever set in stone till it's set in stone. So I never thought too much about it. Just focused on myself, and my teammates probably did the same thing. And, just move forward.
All right, Nick, what do you make of all of this? A lot, apparently.
I don't think there is a single person in the country that believes that. I think that might have been the least believable public statement since I did not inhale from Bill Clinton in the mid-90s. And we've had a lot of public lies, particularly in the last few years. And by the way, I guess KD thinks he has to lie here. I don't think he did. If you remember a couple years ago, Tanya Ganguly of the LA Times, by the way, congrats to Tanya, leaving the LA Times to go to grad school, announced that yesterday. Great career by her in sports media. She asked LeBron about Anthony Davis, and LeBron said, ask me if I want to play with Giannis. Ask me if I want to play with Harden. Ask me if I want to play with Steph. Yep. I want to play with great players. I don't know why KD is just telling bald-faced lies, and also you leave it to the front office. You have left nothing to the front office. They signed Kyrie because of you. They signed DeAndre Jordan because of you. They fired their head coach because he wasn't meshing before he'd even played with him, and they hired Steve Nash because of you. And by the way, as arguably the second best player in the league, you're allowed that type of power. But I don't understand why you would deny something, Brandon, that no one believes you on.
Well, Nick, maybe it's because the deal didn't get done, and maybe it's because he has to go to battle with the players in that locker room. A lot of those guys, if this deal would have gotten done, they would have been out of there. So you got to walk into that locker room, and you got to look those guys in the face and say, no, I believe in you. Let's go get a championship this year. So, look, I don't want to get into do I believe him or do I not, because as a player, there's a lot of – the media is powerful. It's a tool. Or it can be a hindrance for you. So there's a lot of times where you see players and coaches plant stories and plant things. And then there's a lot of times where you turn on the tube and you're like, what is this report? Where does that come from? Nobody knows. So I don't want to do that. But I do believe that if something of this magnitude goes down, Wilds, they have to talk. You have to think that. So I just believe the deal didn't get done. Now they're just moving on with their seasons.
I totally agree with you, Brandon. I think it's totally fair. You don't want to call into question whether or not someone's telling the truth. If I was Kevin Durant, hey, humor. It always, you just deflect and then joke. Deflect and joke. Bang, bang. That's your PR strategy. Say, hey, what have you heard about Harden? You're like, I'll be honest with you. I'm focused on my Achilles and trying not to get into the wine bath that Amari Stoudemire keeps pouring for me. Bang, bang. Humor. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. Okay, what else is going on? That's it. Because right now, you're not lying, but it's like this just happened. Remember the hallway conversation heard around the world where it sparked a million rumors? Like, oh, just two guys chatting. One guy's got pink shoes. It's all good. Maybe Kyrie's talking about having, two max slots. We should do this. Maybe he said that, maybe didn't. Who knows? But then when Kyrie is asked about it when he's on the Celtics, he's like, what? I'm just a human being. Guys, take a breath. Take a listen.
I don't have a private life when I'm out there in the NBA. Somebody wants to take a video, and it is what it is. Pour water on it? I'm a human being talking to another best friend of mine. It's just crazy. This is the stuff that just doesn't make the league fun.
Wrong. It does make the league fun. Makes it really fun, actually. Surprise, surprise, they're back on the Brooklyn Nets. Then KD does a podcast like, hey, remember how we ended up on the Brooklyn Nets? Let's take a listen to that one.
We unveil one of the one of the biggest surprise moves in NBA history.
Yeah,
Nobody ever thought it would happen.
Yes, especially after the All-Star game video where they caught us in the hallway. That's when it was solidified that we were going somewhere. They didn't know for a fact where it was, but it was somewhere.
Shout out to the podcast host, Eddie, who basically works for Kevin Durant. He's like, surprised? Nobody was surprised at all. So, Nick, I'm not going to say that the guy is lying, but we do have a certain track record of let's say, not an entire transparency.
Okay.
I'll meet you there. Not lie, just not totally transparent.
I've got a very, very quick hot take, all right? It's totally okay to accuse people of lying because everyone lies and they do it all the time. This whole, I don't want to accuse them of lying. Why not? People lie every single day to their wives, to their kids, to their employers. Of course he's lying. We all know he's lying, and I am accusing him of lying. I don't care that he's lying, but he's lying. Okay? Just for the record. I will venture out on that ledge, Jenna. I will venture out.
All right, let's head to the Christmas Day slate. Something to look forward to. The NBA reportedly will have these 5 matchups on Christmas Day. Let's see him. Zion on the Pelicans versus the Heat. Warriors, Bucks. New look Nets versus the Danny Ainge-led Celtics. And then you got Luka versus LeBron in the 8 p.m. game. That'll be a fun one for Nick. Clippers, Nuggets, the nightcap. So, Nick, looking at this slate, what excites you the most about the Christmas Day lineup besides, of course, your Lakers?
Well, I'm sorry. I just need a moment here to gather myself because I am so...
Back here on First Things First, time for 4 Things First. Brandon, you love the new look Nets.
Yeah, the NBA is about to start, guys. I know we just had the finals, but it's go time. Look, the Nets, a lot of people talking about the Nets. Let's look at this. Some interesting things happening here. Steve Nash taking the playbook, taking the play out of Bill Belichick's playbook. He's going to have an offensive coordinator in defensive coordinator in Jacques Vaughn, and an offensive coordinator in Mike D'Antoni. Yes, that D'Antoni just led the Houston Rockets. This is awesome. I love this. You don't see this in the NBA, but we're going to let our guy Steve Nash just be the creator of good vibes. I saw that somewhere on Twitter.
So I'm going to talk about Joakim Noah kind of here. So here's the deal. Everything Wild just told you is... Well, wait a moment. Everything Wild just told you is correct about RG3 and he and my tortured history, which is why it would have been perfect for me to talk about RG3 and 4 Things First. But Wild's jumped on that corner, so I'm jumping on his Joakim Noah corner. Joakim Noah, 2-time champion of Florida, Defensive Player of the Year 1 year, finished top 5 in the MVP 1 season. People forget these things. His career's now over, and I want to be the first person on this show to tell him what a great career it was. Always been a big fan of yours, Joakim. I've supported you while others have attacked you. Congrats on a career well done from Florida all the way to the end of your career. Now, technically, Wild should be saying this and I should be doing the RG3 thing, but he jumped on my corner, so I'm jumping on his.
Darn it.
You did it. You did this.
Later in the show,
you did this.
Guys, it has been a very, very interesting offseason for Kelly Oubre. Right, he went from Phoenix, then to the Thunder, then to the Warriors. But even more interesting than that, he got engaged. Not that he got engaged, but how he got engaged. In a way only my grandma would love. Old school TV, old school QVC ad, showing the ring. I love this so much. It reminded me so much of watching TV with my grandma as a kid. Remember juggling the antenna to get a signal, putting it on and off with a pencil, banging the sides just to get it to work. We used to watch Love Boat, Partridge Family, 8 is Enough, you name it. Kelly